Guys, welcome back! The Xbox 360 is turning 10 years old and it's simply one of my favorite video game consoles ever. So let's just start celebrating its birthday by pointing out my top 10 titles, and you'll certainly be surprised with my number 1. Let's take a look. I got my 360 about 3 years after its original release. It was on a kind of trade campaign where we were requested to take an old system plus 2 or 3 games, and we could bring home an Xbox arcade for only 49 euros. Back in September of 2008, I was desperate to try the game that I've placed in number 1 of my personal top 10 list, so this trade came at exactly the right time. Later also got a free 20GB hard disk directly from Microsoft that was a couple of years back traded by a bigger one. As I said in this video's intro, the Xbox 360 is one of my favorite consoles, mainly due to its superb controller that is for me the best ever made. Also, the 360 introduced newer features to the video gaming scene, like for instance HD graphics, matchmaking, achievements and gamer score, friend lists, a market for indie games and the revival of retro games, to name a few. Obviously that I haven't played everything that was out for the system, and most of these titles are multi-platform. Nonetheless, even those that I've played, for instance on the PC, have a kind of a nice vibe that makes me come back to the 360 version, like the one I've placed in number 4. Without further ado, let's get our hands on my favorite 10 video games on the Xbox 360.
Number 10.
Spec Ops: The Line is a kind of obscure and hidden relic. It offers one of the most amazing plots that I've ever experienced, with as well astonishing voice performance from Nolan North, best known for his work on the Uncharted series as Nathan Drake. North also provided his voice to other video game franchises like Assassin's Creed, Batman Arkham series, City Origins and Night, The Last of Us, Call of Duty Black Ops, etc. So in 2012, Jaeger Development brought this third-person shooter to the Spec Ops series that had its debut back in 1998, with Rangers lead the way for Windows. In this new approach to the series, an elite Delta Force team is sent on a mission to Dubai, or to what was left of Dubai, where American soldiers have been reported as MIA and later found dead. So our task is to reach for survivors, expecting lots of action and plot twists.
Don't be so sure, just keep moving forward. Number 9.
Released in 2009, Race Pro is a 360 exclusive title from Sinbin Studios that brought so many amazing driving simulation video games to PC owners. It covers a bunch of different driving disciplines, from WTCC over to Formula BMW F3000 and Mini Challenge. There's even a radical GT class with cars that can reach the 1000 horsepower mark. And there's also several tracks included, the ones that were used in the 2007 World Touring Car Championship, and believe me, they are quite a few to master. Race Pro utilizes the award-winning R-Factor game engine, but unfortunately, weather effects are simply cosmetic, they don't affect the driving in any way.
Number 8.
Still haven't played Fallout 4, so for me, Fallout New Vegas is still the best of the franchise. I have the Ultimate Edition that has all 4 mission expansion add-on packs, including 2 additional DLC packs. so there's many more hours just waiting for us in this huge game. New Vegas was released in 2010 with the bang. Gameplay was highly improved over the previous title, Fallout 3, but some glitches really messed up players' nerve systems. Patches were released to fix those glitches, and even the Fallout community continued to release new fixes for the remaining bugs after Bethesda stopped doing it. But if we can somehow overcome that, it is one hell of an immersive experience like no other. But on the Xbox and PC, cause the PS3 version had some severe framerate issues that was never completely exceeded.
Number 7.
Within 24 hours of its release, Halo 3 set a record for highest gross of an entertaining product, reaching the $170 million in sales. Until now, it is estimated that Halo 3 sold more than 14 million copies. Was it because of all the hype that surrounded this last chapter of the trilogy? I really don't think so. I've just finished it recently and it's really good. A freaking masterpiece. This third chapter introduced to the series new gameplay elements, vehicles, weapons and a lot other little details that brought extra entanglement to the player that it's just not easy to let go after we've started playing. A huge game that should be experienced by everyone.
Number 6.
I've always enjoyed Batman-related video games, and Arkham City is the second installment in the Batman Arkham series released in 2011. In this new venture into the series, Batman can complete side missions apart from the main storyline, and it received a ton of awards, being even considered one of the best video games ever made. As you might know, I'm a huge fan of stealth and adventure, and this title has both of those worlds. So, I'm in heaven. And with such awesome characters and voice performances, I'm suddenly immersed within that obscured and tainted open world environment set in this epic city of Gotham. Still haven't played the sequels Arkham Origins and Arkham Knight, but I intend to do so. Unfortunately, those are still missing from my collection.
Number 5.
Bioshock was supposed to be an Xbox 360 and PC exclusive title, but after receiving an amazing universal acclaim, a much desired PS3 version was consequently made available by the end of 2008, followed later down the road by Mac and iOS ports. Bioshock is one of those titles that we can really use to describe video games as a form of art. I've always stood behind that belief, ever since the glorious ZX Spectrum days, and I always will. Just got it recently and fell in love right away. The marvelous art direction combined with the inspiring soundtrack and the awesome gameplay places this game in my number 5. Now, I've got to grab the sequel and Bioshock Infinite.
Number 4.
Does this one need any kind of comment? It's one of the best games ever made, period. I still haven't beat the game on the 360. I'm still 20 missions short and around 50% of the game complete. Why? Cause just got the improved PC version and I'm starting it all over again. Still, I come back to the Xbox version every time I'm not allowed to play on the PC or just want to sit back on my comfy chair and play it on a bigger screen and with bigger sound. Originally released 2 years ago for the last gen systems from Microsoft and Sony, it was eventually improved and made available also for the Xbox One and PS4. It's an amazing experience, the one I was looking forward to after Vice City and San Andreas. We play the role of 3 criminals, Michael, Franklin and Trevor, and must do stuff that criminals normally do. It can't be described, it must be felt. It sold around 54 million copies and still counting, so it is good.
Number 3.
Here's a perfect example of how reboots should be made. 2013's Tomb Raider was a pleasant surprise. It got me hooked like few did in the last 10 years, and I only rested when I finished it. It has that Shenmue and First Blood feelings that I so much adore. The puzzles, the ambience, the sound effects, everything is just right in this fascinating and gripping experience. And Lara is better than ever before. And it's pretty amazing to watch her evolve from this fragile human being to a badass survivor. If you haven't tried it, you just don't know what you're missing. This time Lara is really back. I just don't know how Crystal Dynamics will be able to top this one. Is the recently released sequel better? Tell me on the comments below, cause I'm really looking forward to grab it.
Number 2.
Open world type of games is Rockstar's middle name, and the successor of Red Dead Revolver is another masterpiece of programming. Just like in Grand Theft Auto, there's also side missions or activities that we can take part in, like bounty hunting and gambling. Honor plays a big part in Red Dead Redemption. The higher the honor status, the more discounts we'll receive in some stores. Nice! So don't just kill everyone that crosses your path. Try to be the good guy and some perks will be awarded that can make the game more relaxing and enjoyable. The immense desolated landscape is so beautifully detailed, and I simply love to just explore it and come across bandits and travelers and also wild animals. I just missed the radio stations from Grand Theft Auto. These horses are just equipped with that kind of technology.
Number 1.
And finally, my number 1. Oops, not that one! Baja Edge of Control. Now here's the title that I was looking forward to play and made me trade my original PS2 for the Xbox 360 back in 2008. It is still the most played video game on my system and a perfect title to kill time. It features an extensive Baja career where we start with a simple and underpowered Baja bug and climb our way up to the more powerful trophy trucks and class 1 buggies. Circuit racing is kind of boring, but the rally stages and full Baja events are what makes this title so unique. For instance, the Baja 1000 event, composed by several stages, can take up to 3 hours to complete. Now that's a serious challenge, and I love that. Until now, no other game has even come close to this one. Besides that, there's also some very entertaining and fun hill climb races where we must face these huge mountains, climb all the way up and return back down with the minimum of damage. And talking about damage, during races we have to take care of our vehicle to be victorious and reach the end in one piece. In circuit events there's a kind of pit stop for repairs, and on rally and Baja events, when in distress, we can call on the repair helicopter that will meet us down the road and thus prevent our vehicle to be completely wrecked and unable to cross the checkered flag. If you've played the PS3 version, just forget about it. It suffers from slow frame rates that ruins the whole experience. This one runs really smoothly and that scenery is simply beautiful. It's like Red Dead Redemption but with dune buggies and trucks. You're probably asking, where's Mass Effect and Gears of War? Well, played all them on the PC and they are really awesome. Unfortunately, never had the chance to try those on the 360. So guys, tell me what are your favorite titles for the Xbox 360. You'll certainly have a bunch that I've never tried before. But for now, and almost 10 years after its original release, these are my 10 most played video games on my Xbox. Feel free to check my other top 10 lists, like for instance for the Dreamcast and for the PlayStation. I also cover other older stuff, so browse my channel and take a peek to my other videos about the ZX Spectrum, Amiga, DOS, SNES, Mega Drive, Genesis, etc. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next week.